I've been hearing these weird rumors lately. Like, is any of this for real or not?
Hey, welcome back to another video. So you remember back in 2020 when there were rumors going around about a Kingdom Hearts show being made for Disney Plus? Well, they're kind of back, but different. See, a couple days ago, as of the making of this video, the rumor had changed so that it was a movie that is being made instead of a show. And then, most recently, as of a couple of hours ago, it is apparently now a hybrid of CG and live action. I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts, actually. So, getting any form of Kingdom Hearts media is typically exciting. I'm a big fan of the series. Most anything they do, I'm going to be here for it. I will watch it. I will play it. Pretty much whatever it is. Okay, so initially, when it was the Disney Plus show, I was like, oh yeah, that'll be awesome. And then so many people were saying it at the time, back in 2020, that I was like, well, sure, it's got to be a real thing. There's so many people saying it. And then nothing ever came of it. And so here recently, when it's resurfaced and has been changed to a movie, then I'm like, yeah, that could still be cool. There's definitely some things they could do with it. Most people would say that a TV show format would suit the series better than a movie, just because of the structure of it. But I definitely would be open to a movie. It would be interesting to see how they tackle that. There are just a couple of things that would need to be implemented for that to work. But this live-action CG hybrid mess is... I want to say I don't see any way for it to work, but... I don't know. Some things that are live-action CG hybrid wound up being somehow enjoyable. Like the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, I really enjoyed those, and you wouldn't really think that would work. And then I haven't watched it, but apparently the One Piece live-action, I'm sure that's got some CG in there, and evidently people love that. So I don't want to go 100% and say it's not going to work. But I do know what Kingdom Hearts is, and I don't feel like a CG live-action hybrid would appropriately establish the Kingdom Hearts feeling. You know, Kingdom Hearts is adventurous, and it has a sense of whimsy, and I'm not quite sure how they would pull that off in that kind of format. But there are other things that we could still talk about in case that the hybrid part is not real and the rest of it is, which fingers crossed, because that would be best case scenario, is that we do get something but it is not the hybrid. Like I said, originally when it was a series, and I was all for that, and then when it was a movie, then I was like, oh yeah, it might still be good, right? But the more I think about it, the more I think a movie would work. So really I could go either way, a show or a movie. But if they do anything, there are 4 things that would make or break it. And I really think that it would need to have these 4 things for it to work. And it needs to have involvement from Tetsuya Nomura, because this is his series. He writes most of it. I do say most, because there are other writers that work on the series, so you can't go blaming all of your problems on Nomura. But yes, I do think that Tetsuya Nomura would need to be involved in whatever this project is. I do think that it needs to be animated in some form or fashion, because the live action part is what's throwing it off. Because if it was just CG, maybe that would work. But the live action stuff is. Have you seen those meme versions of Sora, Riku, and Kairi with the live action people dressed up in outfits? It's so bizarre and just so weird. But yeah, I don't think that the live action is really gonna cut it. I think that's that ship is sailed, and that's not gonna be great. So yeah, it needs to be involvement with Nomura. It needs to be animated, and this one is a little bit more of a give or take, but I do think that having the original voice cast would greatly benefit this project, whatever it is. And that's another reason that a live action would be really weird, because the voice actors for the series would not be able to reprise their roles if they did a live action. Unless they did the kind of thing they did in the live action Bleach movie, where they got actual actors to play the parts, but then they dubbed over with the voice actors, but that would still be weird. So let's not do that, please. Also, like, Haley Joel Osment pretending to be Sora would be bizarre. But yeah, that was another thing that I was thinking about whenever they announced that it was going to be a movie, because a lot of people were going back and forth on, if it was a movie, what would it focus on? What would the plot be? And a lot of people tend to lean toward just a retelling of Kingdom Hearts 1. And there were a couple ways you could do that. You could exclusively follow the story of the games, which you couldn't exclusively due to time, because the games are obviously longer. Those are like 40-hour experiences, but not all that is cutscenes. But there are, as far as just if you just took the cutscenes from a game, then it's going to be way bigger than a movie, obviously. But so people have been back and forth on, if it's a movie, they could just redo Kingdom Hearts 1, or a lot of people like me are like, just do the mobile stuff, because that's something that people really need for the future of the series, and people have already turned a blind eye to the mobile games because they're mobile games, which is a real shame, because the mobile games have some of the best plots in the series. But that is a way that you could get the general public to get their eyes on the plots from the mobile games. So it's kind of a win-win if you do that, because the people who have seen it would love to see it in a higher quality, and the people who haven't seen it would have an opportunity to see it, and it's really important. So that is pretty much one of the better things you could do if it was a movie. And then there's also the slight chance that they do something brand new. And if they do something brand new, then really the only ways I could see something brand new working, because you're going to have the general public looking at this and thinking they can watch it when it would take place at a random point in the timeline, and I think it would still be okay. But you would have to do it either after Kingdom Hearts 3 and give just a recap, be like, okay, well, this is what's happened up to this point. Well, not even up to this point. Just explain the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and why things are the way they are. Like, you could give like a little 5-minute recap, and I feel like it would be okay, as long as you just hit the high points and have the movie not dwell on major things like that. So you could do post Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff and explain yourself, or you could do brand new mobile game stuff that happened off screen or after the saga that we've already seen, like Missing Link era, but somewhere else or something. So those are really the options that you would have if you did a movie. And I mean, the series, I guess, would kind of be in the same boat. You could still tell the same kind of stories, just go on for longer. But yeah, so that's really where it would be at, is that if it's a movie, then you either retell Kingdom Hearts 1 or the mobile games or you do something brand new. And so I think overwhelmingly the best option would definitely be to redo the mobile game stuff. It just seems like a win-win all around. And if they did decide to retell Kingdom Hearts 1, a big problem with that would be, going back to what we were talking about voice actors earlier, is that if you do Kingdom Hearts 1, then the voice actors would have to try to do the same voices from earliest in the timeline, which, honestly, I think Riku still sounds the same. I don't even know if they'd be able to get Hayden, even though that was a whole thing where someone asked her, and she said that they'd never even tried to get her for Kingdom Hearts 3, which is probably going to sound bad, but I could go either way for Kyrie's voice, whether it's Hayden or Alison Stoner, but it would be cool if they managed to get the OG people back. But the whole point that I keep trying to make is that Sora would be the main problem, because Haley Joel Osment is not going to be able to do 14-year-old Sora because he was having a harder time doing that during Kingdom Hearts 2 days because of his voice changed and everything. So I think that you can't win for losing if you do a Kingdom Hearts 1 adaptation, because the voices are going to be off no matter what you do. So I think that as much as people would be quick to jump to Kingdom Hearts 1 retelling in this instance, I think it is one of the worst options you can take, because not only is the voice cast going to be off, but also there are going to be people that they're going to want to jump into the series, and they're going to watch the show, and then they might have certain expectations about the games and then start playing the games and hate them, or they're going to just watch the show and just never play the games, and then they're going to tell people, oh yeah, I know about Kingdom Hearts, blah, 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 this, and that. And if they do a retelling, then they might change some things, and I think it would just be a big mess. So I think retelling Kingdom Hearts 1, one of the worst things you could do in this case. Retelling mobile game stuff, absolute win. New stuff, somewhere in the middle for me, because I'd be more excited to see new stuff, because I want to see where the story is and any new things that are happening, and it would just be more intriguing, because if they were retelling anything, then I kind of have an idea what's going on, and it won't be as exciting for me personally, but it would still be cool to see. It'd be like a novelty thing rather than a intrigue and excitement kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's really all I wanted to talk about, was just the things that could happen were they to actually go through with this project. And even though I went through the time making the whole thing, it is still definitely up in the air whether it's even real or not. But I want to lean towards something actually being real, because of how many people said it back in 2020, and because how many outlets are taking it for word now, and people just keep posting it everywhere. So I think it might have some validity to it, but I cross my fingers that it is not a hybrid, and I do hope that they do it well. I know people who have argued whether they think Square Enix or Disney would handle it better, and it really is a mixed bag, because I think quality-wise, Disney definitely has the budget and the stuff necessary to make a really high-quality product. But I think a lot of people have kind of lost faith in Disney after they've done all their live-action adaptations, and a couple of their movies have flopped lately. And it's kind of become a popular thing to hate on the MCU, which I haven't seen the last couple, but I just can't imagine the MCU being bad, because I've loved so many of the films. But yeah, it's kind of up in the air, but I've said my piece about it. That's kind of all I wanted to do, just make this video, having a little discussion about what could happen, and we'll see what happens, and I will remain cautiously excited, because I do have a bit of faith that they'll pull it out. But I got distracted a while ago, but what I was trying to say is that people have been arguing over whether they think Disney or Square Enix would make it better. And what I was saying was that Disney has the resources to make it good, and Square has the storytelling and the knowledge of the world that they're telling the story about. So I do think that the optimal way to do it would be to have Disney's expertise in the creation of it, but have Square Enix do the story all completely. Just have Square's team, the Kingdom Hearts team, write the story, everything like that, and just have have Disney make it. That is like the best you're going to get, because Square Enix knows the story, they know the characters, they know the world that they're creating this in, whereas someone from Disney is going to probably skim over a couple games, laugh about how convoluted it is, and just try to string together some fan servicey things. And that might fly for some people. And I think that the best way to do it is just to have Square write the story and have Disney make it. And, I think that's it. But I just wanted to a little ramble about that. Tell you guys my thoughts. I'm actually out of breath because I talked too much. But yeah, that's it. This video's gone long enough, so I'll see y'all next time.